Now recognized for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Dr. Woodcock, as always, it's good to see you here. You're one of my favorite witnesses because I can always count, even if I don't like the answer, I can always count on you telling me what you know, or sometimes you have to say, we don't have that information, and I may be in that situation now. Zantac, is any of that manufactured, or was any of that manufactured in the United States?
I think so. There's some manufactured in Europe.
Right.
But ranitidine, which is Zantac, it's a different problem. It isn't an inherent contaminant.
So we've made that determination because some of the early articles that came out in September thought it was a contaminant, and then there were other articles that said it's that the drug itself is unstable. So have you all made a decision on that?
Our chemists think, all right, that the ranitidine in the presence of nitrite, which might be in the excipients, it might be during the manufacturing process.
Hang on. Not only me, but people back home. Might be in the, tell me what that word was.
Excipient.
Excipient, what does that mean?
The stuff, the powder that is put
Okay.
into the pill along
Sure.
with the active ingredient to make a tablet.
So but you think it's not that it was lax manufacturing anywhere, you think it's that component. How quick are you going to be able to tell whether it's the powder or the base drug?
What we have found is very low levels of NDMA in various ranitidine preparations we've looked at. We've looked at
And for the folks back home, NDMA is the contaminant item which is a carcinogen and causes cancer.
Yeah, well, it is it's a genotoxic agent, yes. And we have found various levels of that in different preparations of ranitidine, almost all of them. And our chemists believe that it is formed by the molecule ranitidine reacting with something either during the manufacturing synthesis or during the finished dosage form or during storage, all right? And there has also been a allegation that in the body it is transformed into higher doses of NDMA. We have not been able to verify that yet. We're still doing testing to look at that.
Now, so my follow-up question is that if we were, because I don't think we're manufacturing it here either, but I figured you'd know better than I, if we were manufacturing it in the United States instead of having to follow the Europeans and the Canadians and other countries, would we have been in the lead because we would have picked up on this problem sooner, or do you think it just didn't matter?
This is a product that was approved in 1984 and is used worldwide very widely, all right, and nobody found it. It was developed in Europe, all right. I don't think this had anything to do with where it was manufactured or what have you. And the fact that Canadians and the Europeans announced that they are doing an assessment. We have been in the lead, in my mind, in many ways. We developed the test assays for this contaminant in the product, and we posted them, and these are being used internationally. And we have tested a huge number of samples, maybe 1,500 samples, to try and figure out what is going on here.
All right, so again, for folks back home, for those of us who use the Zantac or the generic, and I use both, it has a histamine blocker, which most of the other antacid type medicines do not have, which for people with allergies, the histamine blocker made Zantac the go-to product. Is there another product with histamine blockers in it?
Well, we have famotidine and the others we have tested. They do not have nitrosamine.
So they don't have the cancer-causing drug, but they do have a histamine blocker?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate that. So
we've posted that on our website, so it should be available for
I'll be looking it up later. That being said, you know, one of the concerns that happens is because there is a concern in the public, and I think rightfully so, that foreign manufacture, particularly China, maybe even India, is happening with so many of our drugs. The minute you hear there's a problem, the first instinct is, well, it got contaminated because of lax standards overseas. Don't you think that's fair for the public to think that?
I think it's fair for the public to think. It simply is not probably the case with ranitidine.
I understand. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it, and I yield back.